L'Shana Tova, everyone. The Torah reading for the second day of Rosh Hashanah is from the 22nd chapter of Bereishit, Genesis. It is the story of the Akeidah, the binding of Isaac. Abraham is commanded by God to take Isaac to the mountain and to make a sacrifice to show his faith in God. The very last moment, Isaac is tied to the altar. An angel calls and tells Abraham to stop. He's proven his loyalty to God. Abraham unties Isaac. Isaac goes off on his way. Abraham instead sacrifices a ram who is caught in the thicket by his horns, and then Abraham returns alone. It's a problematic story about relationships and family dynamics and relationships to God, so I wanted to offer my perspective, at least attempt to, from the perspective of the different characters in the story. Abraham, Sarah, Isaac, God, and then my own reaction. This is the binding. Bound faith. Yitzchak, my name. Yitzchak, a verb. He shall laugh. I cannot laugh. The name itself, a cruel joke. They made a mistake. It should have been Yitzhak. He shall cry out. No, not even that is right. I am not a verb. I do not act. I simply am. I know not precisely who or what. Let father decide. Let mother decide. Let God decide. Let me decide? That's absurd. That makes me laugh. But there is no one to hear. I am alone. I have left my parents' house. Still, I carry it within me. I have left the place of my birth. Perhaps now I can finally be born. I have left the land, my piece of earth, which was never really mine. Only one spot belongs to me. The place where I was bound, the place where I was willing to give up my life, myself, for my Father, for His God, my God. The place where I was prepared to act, to finally become a verb, a man, by doing nothing. Inactive action, courageous folly. In that place, at that time, I became human. I became one with God, Father, Mother, all. I realized in that moment, I am not alone, yet I am alone. In that moment, I was bound not to the altar of fire, I was bound to the altar of faith. Bound faith, not blind faith. Faith in the one who gave me life upon that altar. The moment I surrendered is when I chose to act, to do, to make a difference, to live by allowing myself to die. I pray I can continue to act, to make a difference, to become a blessing. I begin my journey to the place not shown, to the place I will find myself, step by step. Perhaps that is the point. Each step of the journey is a destination, the place of the divine where we are meant to be, to live. Each place both ending and beginning, in each place able to bind ourselves to the one, to the all, the moment. That is the essence of the sacrifice, the journey of being alive. Sarah's test. Why did I let him leave? How could I not? My son, my only one, whom I love more than life itself, is no longer here with me. I could not look, I could not hear. I could just sit there in my tent, surrounded by God's light, afraid I would fail the test, rise up from my place, run to him, embrace him, prevent him from going, growing, living, leaving. But I did not. I passed the test. I held my screams, tears, fear, self inside. I allowed him to leave with his father, knowing only one would return. This was the only way to fulfill God's promise, to let him go into the wilderness, the unknown, where we came from, trusting in God, trusting in Abraham, trusting the voice in my soul, a soul torn from my body the moment I could no longer hear his voice, see his face, the moment I realized that he was no longer mine, as he should not be. Perhaps now he will become who he was meant to be, Yitzchak, a child of laughter. I remember my laughter, disbelief, when told I would give birth, Abraham's laughter, incredulity, joy. But did Yitzchak's laughter ever exist? Yes, a memory, a shadow, a childhood long cut short the moment he realized he was not to be like others. In the days before, my fear, jealousy, hatred, masquerading as love, tore him away from his brother, the one, the only one he loved, and who made him feel like he was not alone. Perhaps now he will laugh, live, fulfill the promise, create a people like sands on the shore, stars in the sky, shining brightly with the faith of his father, able to shift, to change like his mother, with ebb and flow, constantly changing impermanence, trying to build a life on hopes and dreams that never turn out quite as we imagine. I do not know. I can only pray this shall be. Now I am alone, sitting in my tent, God's light shining above. This is more than enough. These days have been longer, one night lasting an eternity, the sun remaining in hiding, never rising, never setting, only darkness. My last night. In the distance I see 3 figures, 2 servant boys who I don't know, and a man I know well, with whom I have shared lifetimes, bent over with sorrow and age. He has passed his test. I see no one else. That is enough. It is done. Nothing more to do but breathe and wait for God to descend, to return my soul to its source, to someday be reunited with the soul that came into the world through me, filling me with laughter, joy, blessing, who will now do so for those yet to come. I am ready to die, to be reborn, to wait to see what comes next for him, for me, for us all. After the ram. The slaughter was easier than I had imagined. The sacrifice was not what I had thought. Or was it? I did not need to kill him. I needed to kill the part of him within me. The ram trapped in the thicket by its horns, a father trapped in the moment by his fear and joy, a son set free at last by the one who kept him bound all these years. I saw the ram. I knew what to do. As in a dream, I untied the boy, looked at him. He turned away. I turned my back, knowing I would never see him again. I took my time, not wanting to turn around, to see the inevitable. Nothing. No one. He was gone. The ram struggled to be free. I struggled to give freedom. I bound the ram. I saw his face. I slaughtered the ram. I saw my tears. I burned the body on the altar. I saw God smile. I returned home. I saw her scream. At that moment I knew the journey was over. The journey had just begun. Yitzchak, my child of laughter, not that day. I had only to slaughter a ram, to sacrifice a relationship. I had no choice but to choose this path. Now we are each on our journeys, destinations the same, unknown. As I walked down the mountain to return, I feel something in my hand. I look down. I see a horn, reminder of what happened, of what did not, of my test and his. I still have it, still sound it, today, to remember that moment, all that I lost then, all that I have now, which will also be lost, as everything is. After the ram, nothing was the same. Before the ram, nothing was different. So it is before each moment, after each moment, a life continuing, trial to trial, sacrifice to sacrifice, joy to joy, sorrow to sorrow, breath to breath, until it ends, which it never truly does. The trial of God. It is finished. It is just begun. Neither, both. It simply continues. Why did I test them? Why did I need to test me? Why could I not have faith in my creations? Why did I need to know the answer which really remains unknown even after the test? My children showed me the meaning of faith. What have I shown them? The meaning of testing, trying, manipulating, not really faith. But no, I have shown them the meaning of mercy, forgiveness, trust in the moment in which they chose. Each one unique, the test, the subject, the response. Each one bears witness to the faith in me, in the part of me within them. That is them. Faith in relationship, interdependence, unity. At least that is what I tell myself. The answer, we are one. I thought I knew that then. I truly know that now. They did not forsake me. I did not abandon them. I tested them. They turned to me for strength, knowing I was the source of their pain. What amazing creatures I have made, to be separate yet a part of me, of everything. I know I have caused suffering. Son torn from father, father sacrificing son, mother sacrificing all, soon to die, to rejoin her source. A family torn asunder, yet always bound together with me, within me, through their faith. Perhaps this is not a consolation in this moment. Perhaps one day it will be. Does that matter? After all is finished, I know I do not want, or is it need, to test anymore. Yet I know I will continue testing them and me, one and the same, so I can remain certain of the only thing that is certain, permanent, reliable. Relationships. All are bound together for eternity. No them, no other, only one. That is the answer to the test, the divine human equation, one. I passed the test, so did they. They always will, if we, look within to our soul and not without, to find the answer, the truth of one. What about me? Why? Who? What? I don't understand. Why should I care about any of it? They are foreign, strange, unknown. I pity them. Father sacrificing son and self, mother sitting in silence, enabling all, son risking all for what? God, self-centered, manipulative, needing to know the truth, even if it kills them? Leave me alone. I do not want to know you. Yet I must. I do. For you are all within me, within us, our spiritual DNA. No, I refuse to believe this is the truth. I would not sacrifice for any god. I would not abandon a child. I would not risk my life to prove my loyalty. I would not ask the unaskable of those I claim to love merely to serve my needs or calm my insecurities. Or would I? Have I? Will I again? Don't we all? No, I do not believe with complete faith that this is the truth. Yet I know with complete faith that it is. Love, sacrifice, pain, surrender, fury, resignation, all are part of life for us. Because we are human, we make mistakes. But what about God, our image, our source? We do not want to cause pain. Still we do. We do not want to test the limits of faith, of love. Still we do. We do not want to sit inactive, allowing the plot, life, to unfold before our eyes, unable or afraid to stop it. Still, we do. We do not want to sacrifice the self, to find the truth, the one. Still, we must. Why? Why can it not be simple? No pain, no test, no sacrifice, no surrender. Because without pain, testing, sacrifice, surrender, life would not be life. We would not act. We would simply exist without truly being. We would be like Isaac, without laughter, never able to leave home, or Abraham in his tent, sitting welcoming guests, never going beyond his comfortable boundaries. Sarah protecting precious possessions, maintaining the status quo, never allowing for freedom, growth, living. God, uncertain how far each will go, what each will do as proof to surrender to divine will, to walk the path step by step, to continue the work of creation. I do not like them, yet I love them. I know them, their actions, their feelings are a part of me. I am part of them, part of the plan, whether I accept it or not. Living brings pain, but pain becomes suffering when we do not take action, when we do not try in our hearts to connect to something greater, when we deny the truth of the call of the divine, whatever that is, within us. Perhaps this is what they are all trying to teach us, their descendants and creations. Still, I don't like the players. I don't like the author. I don't like the plot. Yet I watch it unfold within, around, even now. I feel the pain and know there is something greater I must learn so it does not become suffering. I wish there were an easier way to learn it. Maybe next year. Shana Tova.